Perfect. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be doing my first live and my first interview. And I have the amazing Angélique Binet with me. Angélique, I'll let you introduce people above and beyond the fact that I know you're incredible. What is it that you do?
What do I do? So I help beautiful women entrepreneurs who once had a dream to work on their own dream and they decided to start a business. And then when it comes to promote the business and they want really to use social media or anything online, and then suddenly their mind is starting to say, who are you anyway to be talking to people? Who do you think you are? And Mr. Imposter syndrome, as like people like to call it, is like always here. And so I help them dance with their fears of becoming visible online.
That's amazing. I was really excited for us to have this conversation tonight because I had a real life example in my entrepreneurial journey today about that fear of showing up. So, if you're okay with it, I would love to pick your brain so people can get a bit of an idea around how you actually help people through that mindset.
Okay, let's
Sure.
go.
All right, perfect. So what happened with me today is I was filling up a retreat, right, that I'm doing, and I was reaching out to a few people who I just feel are that perfect fit. And there was a voice in my head that said, "Oh, you can't reach out to that person. They're too far above you, whatever, right? For whatever reason. Or you can't reach out to that person, you haven't spoken to them in too long." And these are little microscopic moments of how our brain gets in the way of us showing up fully as entrepreneurs, as business owners, and sometimes just as women in the world. So if you had a client come to you with that story, what would be one of the first things that you would bring to their attention or help them understand about themselves? Like let's talk through that a little bit.
Yeah, I love that you bring that very nano examples because this is the reality of everyday life, right? And if you let the mind run the show, chances are that you will never show up and you will never fill up your retreat, never fill up your webinar, whatever you want people to come to. Um, so that's, I just want to backtrack a little bit because as an online visibility strategist, the end goal is to help you use online to promote, to build trust, to build relationship with people, and to sell them, right? In the DM, online, in a conversation. So I did that for almost 10 years. And then the women entrepreneur that I was helping all had those nano moments, by the way. Okay, including me, right? And this is when I started to say, well, it's one thing to say, well, just be yourself, just follow your gut, like that's easy to say, right? When your full body is like, no way, I'm going to press the button.
And so often, I'm sure you see this, it's great to hear be yourself, do what you want, whatever. What if you don't know who that is? What if you haven't explored yourself enough to actually know what is authentically showing up? What does that mean for me?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why, I I had to kind of stop. I think it was like 3 years ago, even for myself, that really changed everything in my business. But what is it that stop us from doing the very thing that we say we want to do?
Mm.
And even if you're like with your friends at coffee or having a beer with friends, this year I'm going to do this. I have this amazing thing that you like consciously, you're like full on and you're really serious about it. Like you mean it, right? And then when it's time to do the action, your body shuts down and your brain is like, no, like you're going to be rejected. They're going to judge you. Who do you think you are? You're not enough, and all those limiting beliefs. But when you start to understand how fears work, this is when everything changes, right? Because everything we do, especially when you are an entrepreneur, most of the time it's outside of our comfort zone. Like we are creators. We're always creating the next level, right? That means we always dancing with the next level fear because you don't know what you don't know. But the key in all of this is to build safety in our body. right? And so that's why, when you say, oh, just take a breath, it's not a joke. Like the breathing, like I do breathing work in marketing, like what the heck, you know? But like all the work you do to help your nervous system to calm down so that you can bring your brain on board and be that creative being that we are. We have so much, and we have a heart that is ready to explode and serve our clients. So this is why the only way to get there is to build safety inside of our nervous system. And there is an art to this that you can do every day, every second. But until you know that, like you think you have imposter syndrome, you think that you have the procrastination, you think like you are like really mean towards yourself, and it's like a disease. Oh my god, imposter syndrome. But imposter syndrome is amazing. That means that your system is like, no girl, because if you do it you might succeed. And we don't know what it is. We don't know how to live with success, right? So how do you bring back calm in your body is the key to everything you do in marketing or in life. So that's why it really changed the game for me, because everything I want is outside of me. And I'm sure it's the same for you. It's with the beautiful project you have. And I don't want to steal the thing. So you're gonna say, but like this is outside of us. So it will require a nervous system regulation. Otherwise, they always say, yeah, you shut down your cortex. The brain is like flight fear mode. And you hide, like you're gonna die if you do something new. Plus, if it's successful, it's even scarier, right?
Like, then what do you do? Like, what do you do when people actually start saying, yes, I'll work with you?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, this is really the number one thing. Like as soon as like it's making sure that you don't believe a thought you think. I have a T-shirt that says that, because your mind is here to, especially when you're in the fear mode, it's here to protect you. As soon as you change, there is a risk that at the nervous system level that you die, because this morning you woke up that way, maybe overwhelmed, stressed, and everything. That's your modality of living. So your body wants you to stay there because it's safe. You woke up this morning. So if suddenly tomorrow you decide to be a calm person who invites people to a retreat, well, we don't know how to live with this. So the system is like panicking, and then you won't send the DM, you won't send the email, you won't show up, you won't do the live. You're going to find that it's too techy for you or whatever. Like all the things we say, the stories, and we're good at stories, right?
Oh, we're so good at stories. And I love this because, with the work that I do, it's all about recognizing the stories, reframing the stories, being in your body, understanding the emotions, reframing the emotions so that they're empowering instead of disempowering. And what I love about the work you do is that you're bringing all of that healing into marketing, into business growth. And it's an area that is so desperately in need of it. That's why I do executive coaching. That's why I work with millionaire entrepreneurs who are trying to go from, the top 10% to the top 1%, because the business world hasn't brought in the depth of psychology that's actually available. They've brought, and this is a broad term, so I hope nobody gets offended by this, but in general, marketing and sales uses manipulative psychology. And what you're doing is you're bringing in authentic, heartfelt, safety aspects of psychology and nervous system function. And you're empowering people to operate their businesses from that perspective.
Yeah.
So what led you there? It's so far out of the norm of how things are taught. How did you get there?
Well, I think the number one reason is that when you force yourself to follow a system that is not really aligned to who you are, it's very tiring.
Yeah, exhausting.
Yeah, and then you stop. Then there is that, and then there is the energetics of it. When you do something that you want to do versus something you have to do, like just saying it, I feel the difference, right? Mm-hmm. And your audience feels it too. So I think that's everything. I was like, as I say all the time, I invested so much money in business coaches, marketing coaches, all amazing. And still I would recommend them today.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that needed to change was me, because I the fear was invading the essence of who I am. So it's one thing to have a tactic and a strategy, but if you're not ready at your core of who you are to show up, and I was showing up online, I was always someone showing up, but I was not showing up in a way that was connecting.
Yeah.
Uh, because I had to go to deeply know who I was and being very transparent with my audience, which brings a lot of vulnerability. And then that's why I always say, like, what do you have to hide? Where are you hiding to yourself? And so that's the work I've done in the last 3 years. Where am I hiding? And I'm still hiding some pieces of me. I know, it's one layer after the other. But the more you do that work, it's just phenomenal how the other humans on the other side of the screen feel it and connect with it. And so there is more and more science around it, around energy, frequency, and that power of conviction. When you are scared of yourself, who wants to work with someone who's scared of herself, right?
Right.
So
And on the flip side of that, like attracts like from that energetic standpoint. And so
yes,
you're going to be bringing in people who are afraid, who have those limiting thoughts, who maybe don't think they can do it. And although that is who you work with, you need to work with those people from an energetically and emotionally elevated place where you can help lift them up.
yes, who are ready to be elevating, even if they don't know the how. That's the how I teach. But when you're aware that, and that's my story, like 3 or 4 years ago, I had to admit that, okay, we need to go there. And we did. And that's amazing. I wish I had started there, but I needed to learn the other lessons, so before.
And like you said, it's a never ending process, right? We're just human onions. In your experience with clients and with yourself, I'm wondering if it matches mine and the experience that I've had personally, but that I walk through with people all the time. The first 2 or 3 layers are absolutely the hardest because they're the scariest, because you haven't quite yet built that trust into yourself that you're not going to die. But by the time you get through that second or third layer, it's hard, but it's not scary because you're like, well, I survived the other ones. Like I'm gonna be fine.
Yes. And this is when the world around you changes, because some people are going to leave your boat. It's too much. Or they're going to stay because they are like reaping the fruit of the ripple effect of you changing, and they're going to change, or you're going to attract new people. And that's exactly what's happening for me right now. Like, it's just like, and there's no tactics behind this. The only tactic is how you prioritize your energy every freaking day.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's your main job.
I had this conversation with my business coach and my husband this week. And I know for a fact that I magnetize the most amazing connections, relationships, and clients when I keep my work week at 20 hours, when I'm really just committed to that. Because guess what? When I'm doing the work week that I want to be doing as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, everything about me is at my best. I'm spending time in my garden. I'm spending time with my kids. I'm baking. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. I'm going for walks. I'm doing all these things that I just bring me joy. And then I get to show up that way. And that vibration pulls in all the perfect people.
Yes.
Like you, right? Like this recent partnership that we've developed, which is so exciting. And speaking of that, do you mind if I pivot for a moment?
No, go.
Can you tell everyone who's listening what it is that you're actually up to? Because one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, introduce you to my audience, is you have got this life-changing, amazing program available for women entrepreneurs, and it's starting up very soon. So can you tell everyone a little bit more about that?
Yes. So, as an online visibility strategist, I work the strategy and the tactics. But as I said earlier, I realized that if you don't do the inner work of your visibility and really figuring out where you're hiding from yourself, the strategy and the tactics won't work. As simple as this. So I felt like kind of, if I was keeping doing that business through my strategy and my tactics, I was kind of stealing my clients, because I know now how it works, right? So now it's a requirement when you work with me. We start with the inner visibility, which is it's a 12-week program where I literally give you the step by step of all the things around neuroscience, around the way you talk, the way you think, the way you what you believe in, all the things that how you show up every day. That maybe right now the way we talk, as soon as someone starts talking to me, I know exactly why the project doesn't work, like just by the words they use, right? Like, we don't realize, but every day we are working against ourselves every nanoseconds. So it requires number one to be aware of it. So that's the work we do. How do you become aware? And then once you're aware of it, how you rewire it so that the vision you have, so that's why we start with the vision of your business, the vision of how do you see yourself online. If everything was easy, what would happen? Just imagine this.
That's my favorite question. If it was easy, what would it look like? What
Yes.
would you be doing? How would you be feeling?
Yes. And so, and I'm the proof of it can be so easy. And the easier it gets, the less work I do, the more audience brings to me. And I'm like, it's completely anti what we've been taught, right? And that's you saying, the less I work, basically, the more money I make, right? So,
and the happier I am.
Yeah. So that's completely counterintuitive. So we need to deprogram that. So that's why, now I take every decision around how easy can it get for me, like for anything. So just before I talk to you, for example, I had 2 more contracts for the program to write. And I was like, I felt my energy was constricted. So I took a few breaths and my body said, get out. So, and my mind was like, no, I'm due like 2 agreements. The people are waiting and all the things. So it's learning how to become the leader of yourself, that even if the pile of work is waiting, if you push through, and statistics all over the Western world, I don't know about the other world, burnout is number 1, right? When you push through, yes, you can be successful and dead.
Right? Yeah. And like, what are you left with? You're left with exhaustion, emotional numbness, marriages that are falling apart, broken down relationships with your children if you have kids. Like, it doesn't actually work. It might fill your bank account if you're one of the lucky ones, but it doesn't work.
And that's why the priority of that 12-week program is not only, becoming aware of where all the stories you tell yourself, where you stop yourself from the biggest dream you have. And most of the women, I can't believe the dreams they have, and they don't even see it's possible for them. And I'm like, it's totally possible. Like, I'm like, no, we need, and that's the part that I'm excited about. Like one of my latest clients, she had an old dream of 20 years ago. She wanted to write a book, and she thought she was too old, too late, to this, to that. Guess what she's doing after after working the work that of Magic with Social Media Love? She's starting
writing a book
tomorrow. Yes,
amazing.
Yeah, and it's so full of joy, and like we deserve every single dream we have, whether it's part of our business or outside of our business. And I've started to play with that 4 years ago, and I know it works, and I'm like, I cannot keep that for myself. So I want to really help women entrepreneurs to demystify that everything has to be complicated in marketing. When you are fully you and fully aligned and when you embrace your fears and your imposter syndrome and you love it so much, I promise you everything gets easier, because you have nothing else to hide. You can't pretend anymore. You are you.
It's actually, and I understand, like, some people might be listening to that thinking, what the hell is she talking about? It's not fun to feel this way. But as someone who's done the work and who is like, that's what I do. Like, I bring people into the work and I get to watch the unraveling of that old self and the rebuilding of the new self. And I promise you, to anyone who's listening to this with skepticism, it actually gets fun because you stop taking yourself so seriously and you start to see like this, so like a dance or a game that you get to play with your psyche and your heart and your life and the energy around you and the people around you, where you're like, oh, that's a new story. I guess we're going to play with this one now, right? Or
Yeah, and
that's a new layer and I'm excited to look at it. Like it actually becomes fun to do the work.
yeah, and skepticism, I was one of those person before, and it's a modality to protect yourself. Your mind and body use skepticism to keep you separate from what you know inside of you, because you are a pure, beautiful, human, energetic person who was born one day and was ready to conquer the world until all those stories added up. And you're like now frustrated or worried and overwhelmed and serious. Uh, but so that's kind of a behavior to protect you from daring to go there.
Yeah, well, skepticism keeps you in that safe comfort zone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If something's new and weird, like you said before, it's that nervous system responsive.
Yes.
It's not safe, or I don't know if that's safe.
Yeah. You don't know how to live that way, so you don't know. And so that's the part we do, and it's called a neuro identity evolution framework. It's a like it's tag, and you keep that for life, right? It will change it. I quadrupled my revenue after doing this neuro identity evolution program. That's why I certified in it, because it's that potent.
Yeah.
And on the side of this, what we do is we have a gym. It's a visibility gym. And so by every other week, I'll give the students a challenge, a visibility challenge, a mission, a quest. I'm going to call it a quest because a challenge is pressure. We don't want pressure. We're all about love, ease, and space so that you can feel safe, right? So we're going to do a quest that's going to be around visibility to your audience, visibility to yourself, visibility to someone you're kind of hiding from, whatever is where you're hiding, because where you hide in one piece of your life is what makes you hide in every other aspect of your life, including your marketing. Right? So we have a gym where we're going to be doing that, and then I'll be there to coach people either on the program itself, like the neuro evolution identity, or business. So, for example, if you're launching something soon, if you want to package an offer, if you, I don't know, want to reposition your message, bring those questions to me. I have 30 years of in communication. That's, that's the core of my work, my expertise, right? But it can only work if you do the other work. Otherwise, you won't use it. That's as simple as that. Right?
I love it. I love, but like you're not putting the cart before the horse. You're getting into the nitty gritty. You're helping people reframe what needs to be reframed. Then you're giving them the tools because they're ready for the tools.
Yeah.
Right? You can give someone all the materials to build a house, but if they don't know how to swing a hammer, it's really not going to work. Exactly. So you're teaching them how to swing a hammer, then you're giving them the tool or the materials.
That's a good analogy. I like it. Yeah, and so we're starting Monday. So if any of you, and kindly you open the door of your audience. So if you don't know me, just talk to JC. She can talk to you. I'm a nice person. I'm not gonna babysit you. I'm gonna tell you you're gonna do the work, and it's not fun every day. It's just a beautiful gift you do to yourself, because you deserve, you deserve to do what you say you want to do, and that's why I wrote the book, right? If some of you are not ready to come for Monday, read the book. That will give you a sense of how visibility and your inner visibility are so linked together, and why your marketing feels so heavy and so like separate from you, right? But in fact, when you realize that the people who are watching you on the other side of the phone have a heart, have a brain, have a body, and they are looking for more love, for more transformation, for more whatever is your expertise, right? Those people, they need you. So it's not a joke. If you say you are an expert at this, you cannot hide. And especially if you choose social media as a source of lead and you're choosing it. Nobody forced it on you. You got to show up and you got to build trust with your community, and those people in your community, there are not just random people on the internet. There are people as we speak who are Googling for exactly the solution that you provide.
Yeah, one of the quotes that I found really helpful, that from a coach I worked with 5 or 6 years ago, it was kind of a getting out of your own way conversation. And I'll paraphrase it, but it was something to the effect of, don't forget that the world needs your gift. This is not you necessarily trying to get something from the world, although the beauty of being an entrepreneur and a business owner is that you get to create an abundant and free life for yourself, and that's part of it. But you're doing it because the world needs what you have to offer, and there are people who are desperately searching exactly what you have. And so for everyone who's listening again, like, Angélique will help you stand in that power and in that brightness so that you can show the world what you have, so that the people who are looking for you can find you.
Yeah, because I love how you say it, because it's not just posting to post, right? When you post a post, it's the additions of all the posts you've done in the last year, 10 years even, so that when people stumble upon you and finally they find that hidden gem that you are, they're going to start binging. Like, we're in a culture of binging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to become their Netflix. I don't know if you've done that, but when I love someone, I'm going to go in all their videos and like, I'm going to download all the things, and it's like madness. Right?
I did that last week. So yeah.
So you're building your digital footprint at a level that is not just for the thing you have to sell today. You are building your brand. You're building who you are. You're building that for the long game. So that's why you cannot wait to have something to sell, to show up. You got to show up now, so that when you have something, you have an audience. If you don't have an audience, it's going to be hard to find people in your audience to buy from you. So it's like having a relationship, right? You got to nurture that relationship. Some people, get together right away. But most of the time you date and you do things and you split apart and you come back and all the things. It's the same with our audiences.
I love that. That's amazing. So thank you so much for coming on. I love going down these rabbit holes with you. I mean, we went for coffee the other day and it turned into, I think, 2.5 hours of us just going off. So just to recap for everyone, Angélique has a program starting on Monday. So it's coming right up. There's one space left?
One or two.
One or two. Okay.
I could squeeze a two, but that's. I said 12 max, I want this to be still easy to manage as a group, as a family, because you build a family when we work as a group. Like, the community you build when you go through a work like this is become your family and friends for life. And that's amazing.
So if anyone wants to reach out to her, Angélique, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Well, which platform, I like my Facebook Messenger. Okay. And then if you want to check the program, it's magicwithsocialmedialove.com. As simple as that. Perfect. But reach out to me if you can't find or can't remember, because there is a lot of love word on the internet. So you might be lost in the Googling. But yeah, Angélique Binet. And then you DM me in my Messenger and you can say JC. And I remember that you're coming from JC. So that I know where we start in our conversation.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. And happy to meet your audience.
Yes, we're happy to introduce you over here, and you guys will be seeing more of her. I'm sure we're working on some really cool stuff together.
Yes. So excited. Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you. Have an amazing night.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.